Good morning. I just thought I'd show you this little model I've made. It's a self-portrait and that's me. It's not a very good representation, I admit, but I thought I'd try something a bit different. So it's not a it's a three-dimensional portrait of me, but instead of those three dimensions being height, width and depth, they're height, width and the dimension of time. So look. So that's kind of, I don't know if that's either me now or possibly me at my point of death. And this end is me as a zygote in my mummy's tummy. So the passage of time, this is me. It's like a series of cross sections of me and across the passage of time like that. Does that make any kind of sense at all? It's like if you'd taken a slice through me every day for the last 55 years and stuck them all together. That's the object you've got. It's like a weird time slug. See that? I make these things because it helps me think. So I'm kind of imagining that if I was somehow able to live or step outside of time, if I was like a god or something like that, and I looked at a human being, it would look a little bit like that. You know, it'd be a fixed object in 5-dimensional, 4-dimensional or some dimensional space. Something like that at least. Anyway, this is a representation of that. I'm thinking about this because I've been reading about block universes and eternalism and presentism, and it partly comes out of some discussions about determinism that I've been thinking about and engaging in. Because these things relate to one another, don't they, I think. But just see if I got this right. Presentism is this idea that there is a present happening, and here I am in the present, and it's the same present that you're in and everybody else is in, and the present is uniquely distinct from the past, and both the present and the past are uniquely distinct from the future. And these things, past, present and future, tense to time, you know, the past tense, future tense, present tense of time, represent different, significant differences in the way the universe is. You know, the past is fixed, and the present is the kind of the cutting edge at which the future, which is inchoate and unknown, kind of condenses into the fixed past. It's that kind of idea, and so presentism says that's what the universe is like, and we all live in the present, and the present is the same for all of us wherever we go. And that's the kind of intuitive sense of it, isn't it? I think that's how most of us experience the world. That we can look back over our shoulders at the past, and there it is, fixed and immutable. And the future is something of a blinding mirage, as somebody said. We can kind of predict what's going to happen a few steps ahead of us in this path that we're going down, but we are not able to see into the distant future. And it isn't fixed. The future is not yet written, or something, as I think it used to be in the opening credits for Myst, didn't it? So that's presentism. But presentism has some problems. I mean, it's had philosophical challenges to it throughout, and often with the alternative vision, which is something like, I think it's called eternalism or the block universe. Eternalism is an interesting one, which goes back as far as people like Parmenides, apparently. But it really got a kind of kick up the arse in early part of the 20th century with Albert Einstein. Because what Einstein's theory of relativity seems to indicate is that there is no such thing as a universal present, the universal now. The now that I'm in right now is different from the now that you're in right now, and not just because you're watching a recording, but our now is significantly different because we are different. We are separated in space, and in Einstein's relativity kind of inflected universe, space and time are different aspects of the same kind of dimensional set of extensions. So my now is not your now, and if you're a long way away from me, or you're travelling at high speed, or whatever, our sense of time and our sense of what now is, the present, is really significantly different. In fact, my now might be your past, and your now might be my past. And if my now is your past, then my present, if my present is your past, then there's clearly a bit of a problem there. And and the future is not inchoate, it's not unwritten, it's just not happening here, it's happening where you are. So all time is eternally present, hence eternalism. And that idea that there is, it's also sometimes called superdeterminism, I think, I've heard that term somewhere else. But this idea that, you know, everything that can happen, will happen, is happening, kind of also simultaneously exists in some multidimensional extension, the block universe, which God or other kinds of entities are notionally placed outside of, gives rise to this kind of thing, this crude representation of that. So there I am at some point in mine now, but from the position of your eternal now, I'm extended over time like that. Now, of course, that does seem to suggest that it's determined, because obviously if mine now is here, from your perspective, you can see where I'm going to end up. But from my perspective here, I can't, and I feel like I'm making choices. So it does kind of enter into that free will determinism thing, but as I've said in previous videos, I don't think those terms are terribly helpful. I think they just reveal something about the way our minds are working right now, but and the limitations of our models, because this is a model dependent reality and this is just one model. So yeah, so that's that really. Superdeterminism. There are other versions of it as well. There's the expanding block universe, which kind of brings multiversey kind of things into quantum-y kind of things. Yeah, anyway, thanks very much.